Hello everyone, welcome back to a brand new video of Fox Flicks on Connie X. Now, if you remember about a month ago or so, we had actually done a reaction to another video of Con, of where he made the Scarlet Paradox Pokemon evolve. Well, evolutionary lines. Anyway, he's back again to do it to the Violet Paradox. Let's hop in and see just how these robots can evolve, or should have evolved.
Weeks ago, we gave the Scarlet Paradox Pokemon that should have evolutions, e.g. Donphan evolves from Phanpy, so by that measure, we gave Great Tusk its own pre-evolution Phanpy equivalent, and overwhelmingly, you asked for us to do the Violet Paradoxes too. Thank you, that makes this Digimon boy relieved to be able to keep doing some Pokemon videos now and then. So yes, on today's video, we're gonna give the Violet Paradox Pokemon their missing evolutions.
Now, for some of these, it's definitely going to be interesting to see, and for others, it's going to be...
Hey, just before we get started though, I want to give a huge shout out to today.
We're going to cut real quick. I'll be right back, folks. And we're back from the cut. Let's go.
To it. Alright, so evolution lines for the Violet Paradox.
As you know, as you can probably tell that Iron Bundle isn't here simply because it's a Delibird. It doesn't even have a Prevo.
Pokemon. Some criteria here is that they have to be based on Pokemon that already evolved. So for example, Roaring Moon is based on Salamence, or well technically Mega Salamence, but regardless, Salamence normally evolves from Shelgon, and Shelgon normally evolves from Bagon. I called it Bagon last time, no one picked up on it, but I think it's supposed to be Bagon, I can't tell.
I think we pronounce it either way, either or. I think I say like Bagon as well.
So its Paradox version that we covered last time did likewise. Which is why, in this instance, Paradoxes based on Pokemon that did not traditionally evolve won't be getting evolved forms. So there will be no Evos or Prevos for Iron Bundle, Iron Leaves, or indeed Iron Serpent, aka Miraidon. So happy that Walking Wake is Suicune. Would have been really annoying to have a DLC Pokemon added that could have pre-evolutions right after I made that Scarlet video. So let's begin with Iron Thorns.
To be honest, that would have sucked. You complete a video, you get it uploaded, and then immediately one day later, oh, click! It's like, oh, well, thank you. All my hard work just went down the toilet. Thanks for flushing.
Its first stage pre-evolution, which if it was Tyranitar would be Larvitar, but instead I present Iron Horn, a rock electric type just like its third stage father. This is a diminutive paradox form of Larvitar designed by Weirdomon. Much like how Larvitar feels like a tiny larvae form of Tyranitar, Iron Horn is a rudimentary version of Iron Thorns, a robotic paradox Pokemon similar to robot or even wooden toys you might see that have little wheels, and the two wheels either side kind of evoke those hoverboards, which I think is funny. I chose the name Iron Horn as, well, its horn is a predominant part of the design, but also Horn has all the same letters as Thorn, in the same order except for the T. The T for Tyranitar. Very proud of that one. But Larvitar gives way to Pupitar, and as such, Iron Horn evolves to Iron Cell. Weirdomon was absolutely...
It looks like a battery! It just straight up looks like they took a battery and just slapped eyes and a mouth on it.
Inspired to turn the Pupa Pokemon's robotic form into a giant battery. I love this idea so much, and it ties into his evolution line really thematically, with a form for the future Paradox Pokemon that actually feels really unique, which with them all having the same iron prefix is a struggle. I also like to envision this having some connection to Charjabug and the whole Vikavolt evolution line. Maybe in the future the Vikavolt and Tyranitar lines somehow merge, or something, I don't know. And I chose that Paradox name Iron Cell coming from cell batteries, but also the idea of a holding cell, a thing that contains something waiting to be released or break out, just like the butterfly breaks out from the chrysalis, or the Godzilla breaks out from the pupa. Cell and shell are also very similar sounding words, which just helps enforce that pupa casing feeling.
Oh, hold on, we got an ad break. Sorry about that, I was trying to say we have an ad break. Anyway, we're back.
Alright, let's move over to Iron Moth. And Volcarona is a Pokemon that has paradoxes in Scarlet and Violet. So we wanted to make its Larvesta form, its pre-evolution, feel like a counterpart to Sleepy Wing that we created last time. And so I present Iron Torch, designed once again by Capney. This fire poison type Pokemon is supposed to invoke torches, like a little version of a torch that you might see.
Wait, poison? I hope you can explain that.
Indiana Jones holding, but a futuristic version. In the UK, the word torch is more commonly used to refer to a flashlight,
Click, click.
which, this being a futuristic, metallic Paradox Pokemon, would make sense. And of course, torching things is setting them on fire, and it's a fire poison type. My idea here was that if you look at Iron Moth, it has this full corona, this cyber sun as its wings. So for its pre-evolution Iron Torch, I wanted that sun to just be coming over the horizon. If you envision Iron Torch's head as the hill or the horizon, the sun is starting to rise.
Okay.
And also, those points that are on Larvesta in this configuration look like a star, which the sun is also one of. Maybe we can give this to a member of Team Star too.
Yeah,
And
I
another
can see
Pokemon
that.
that has paradoxes in both versions of the game is Donphan, and in Violet, it's Iron Treads, who Capney jumped in again to give its Prevo Iron Trundle, a ground steel type. This is just a tiny little Fampi, and I love it. We are in
It looks like it's a helmet or something trying to live inside like a helmet. Either way, that is adorable.
inspired by things like tanks, but also specifically the Armadillo Zord from Power Rangers Wild Force or Gowranger. In the same way that Iron Treads can fold itself into a wheel, I like the idea of Iron Trundle being able to do so too, but it being a little bit more clunky. And that's where its name inspiration comes from too. To trundle is to move with wheels, in a slow or heavy manner, which I think lends a real cuteness to the little guy. Just picturing it trying to roll around Area Zero or Paldea on its tiny little wheels, or even tucking itself into a more crude large wheel to try and go faster, but maybe not succeeding. Then is Iron Hands, our Hariyama paradox, who Soru designed the pre-evolution for Iron Palm, a fighting electric type. Iron Hands is said to be a modified version of a athlete, which we extended to Iron Palm, feeling like someone training to be an athlete, specifically a martial artist, with the cyber gloves feeling a little bit more like training mitts in this instance.
Probably based on that one fighting gym leader from Gen 3. Brawly? Is that his name? If you know who I'm talking about, you know who I'm talking about.
Because there is a real-world Iron Palm or Iron Hand technique in various Chinese martial arts. It's a conditioning technique typically meant to condition the hands of a practitioner to deliver very powerful blows without injury, which this Pokemon would use when it evolves into Iron Hands because it gets those gigantic fists which it can use for combat. In addition to that, palm strikes are a common trope in media depictions of sumo, or at least similar techniques like E-Honda from Street Fighter. And Makuhita's name likely comes from Makushita, the third highest sumo division. Alright, the penultimate set of Paradox Evos for this video are the pre-evolutions for Iron Jugulus, Hydreigon's future Paradox form. And I present to you Iron Maw and Iron Jaws, drawn by Dry. I just realized that Dry drew Hydreigon's evolution line. Dry felt that Hydreigon's line...
Did he chose that or did you give it to him? Because either way, one of you made a brilliant decision, so golf clap.
was the embodiment of high effort, high reward for a trainer. Dino and Xvilus are strong but tend to miss their targets and contrast a lot with the powerful Hydreigon. Iron Jugulus is also very floaty with its separate hovering limbs and space theme. So Dry liked the idea of its two Prevos kind of learning to fly, hovering off the ground constantly, kind of out of their own control, which makes them more hard to maneuver since they have a more grounded build. And he envisioned them sometimes floating away and spinning uncontrollably just like Sandra Bullock in Gravity, which is made all the more difficult by the fact that they can't really see well. On the name side of things, Iron Maw and Iron Jaws I liked. I did consider going fully Latin with the picks, as Jugulus comes from Latin, so my original idea was to name them Iron Oris, meaning mouth, and Iron Aura, meaning mouths. But I do think that Jugulus was just chosen more so to intimate there being multiple jugulars, throats, necks, mouths, whatever you want to say, so I thought the Latin element wasn't as important as conveying stages. Iron Maw and Iron Jaws obviously rhyme, or kind of half rhyme, and I think Maw to Jaws to Jugulus feels like the name is adding letters each time, similar to how the non-Paradox version's evolution line count up in numbers, with Dino being Ein meaning 1, Xvilus coming from Zvi, meaning 2, and Hydreigon coming from Dry, meaning 3. It's not perfect though. If you've got other name ideas for these, let me know.
Hey, isn't that German? I don't remember if it's German or not, but I think that's German.
In the comments.
Oh, hold on, we got another skip, and we're back.
out. And finally, that brings us to Iron Valiant,
Hell
the
yeah.
Paradox version of Mega Gallade and Mega Gardevoir. I had a couple of ideas about these. Initially, I was thinking, oh, we'll do a more masculine version and a more feminine version. But Gallade comes from Curlier and Routes, just like Gardevoir does, and that extends to their Mega Evolutions. So I do believe these Paradox Pokemon would just have a Curlier-based Prevo and a Route-based Prevo. And so I present Iron Will, drawn by SomeGuy944. The robotic Route is perfect in my opinion. Its name, Iron Will, is again a real thing. A literal Iron Will is a strong disposition or resolve. An intense
Like in that game, Shadow of Mordor, when you try to brainwash someone and then they're like, I will never give up, and then you just get blocked by the Iron Will trait. You get it, you get it.
Fortitude, and I think that really works for the basic stage routes of this Paradox line. While it hasn't honed its combatability yet, it has an Iron Will that will enable it to grow in fighting and fairy energy. Its skirt opens up, allowing it to move faster and hinting at that final form Iron Valiant a little bit more, and while its fighting is uncoordinated, it still will be able to deliver good blows just on virtue of its build and its will. But when it is trained and practiced enough, it can evolve to Iron Maiden, also drawn by SomeGuy944. This still keeps a lot of the femininity of Curlier, but you can see those legs of Mega or regular Gallade starting to peek through. They're not the same dainty legs that you see in regular Curlier, though they're not that far off. And the name Iron Maiden hints at that. A subversion of the helpless maiden trope, but also the historical torture device, the Iron Maiden.
Oh,
and also
God.
an excellent band to boot. This combo of the word maiden with something capable of dealing intense damage I think is a great fit for this middle stage Paradox Pokemon, still a fairy fighting type. In particular, I like that while it doesn't have the blade of its final form, it does have these little cyber pointed parts on its legs and its skirt, which I'm sure it could use again to deal devastating damage. Alright, that is it, our pre-evolutions for all these Scarlet Paradox Pokemon that would normally have evolution lines. Isn't it interesting that all of them this time are pre-evolutions, as all of the Paradox Pokemon's original basis are all the final stage of their evolution line currently. How fun. Thank you so much for watching, it genuinely means the world to me. I was worried putting out that first Scarlet Paradoxes video, but it got like 15,000 views or something, which is awesome. Very reassuring as a creator to know that while yes, Digimon is the thing you came for, you're willing to let me dip my toes into other franchises that I feel passionately about. Digimon's going to be the main focus for the foreseeable future, but it's really nice to be able to talk about Pokemon, maybe Monster Rancher in future, hell, maybe we'll even talk about Final Fantasy. Huge shout out as always to my sovereigns.
Well folks, that's where we're going to end off today's video. I hope you'll enjoy this. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more. Link will be in the description, and I'll see all you folks next time when we flick on. Peace out.